You're no good to me or yourself. You're no good to anyone.
Hey, you want to throw shit?
Yeah, I want to fucking throw
I'll
shit.
fucking throw shit.
Around looking sad, and it would go on for a day or two till finally, why the don't you? And then this is where I would slap her or something. Then she would change her mood.
No.
America, that shit is my woman. I'm taking her tequila. That's why I'm not singing tonight.
John Wade Prentice. Isn't that a lovely name?
John Wade.
Joanna Prentice I'll be. But, Mom,
Now, children, what do you say when you meet a nice man?
Are you my daddy?
Are not the father.
Your pretty brown skin.
Hey everybody, it's Mike, and if it's Saturday, May 25th, you are live watching the Real Black podcast. And it's been 2 weeks, I think, since we've done this. And we've been threatening for a long time to have this man back on the show, Mr. Jason Clue from the other side of the pond. Welcome back.
Hello. Good to be back. We've had it. Been speaking about it for a little while, haven't we? To do another podcast. Was not as frequent as it used to be, but we will try and get it back.
Yeah, well, hopefully. I mean, you understand why that happened. I was busy teaching. I took a adjunct professor job at Temple University. So, but now we're off for the summer. So if you're watching this now, the plan is to be live every Saturday night at some point. I mean, right now we're a little early because it's late where you are, right? It's like late at night.
Yeah, it's midnight. It's like the graveyard shift for me.
Yeah. So, but a lot's happened since our last check-in. And you published a new book, right? Called what? And let people know about the new book, and we'll greet the chat in a second.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. So choose a follow. So it's in addition to the 21 Rules of Blackness. So what are the rules of the 21 Rules of Blackness for those who haven't read that book or not familiar with that book?
Okay. You're pixelating.
21 rules.
Okay, hang on just a second, Jason. You're pixelating.
And how
I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why you're pixelating. Let me take you away for a split second and bring you back. Oh, now you're fixed. This is intercontinental. Kinda. It's still not sharp. It's like are you plugged into Wi-Fi or are you using the air?
Yeah, I'm using Wi-Fi, but am I not good?
Well, you just slowed down for a second. So do we have any mods in here? I'm just trying to see who's here. Big Mix is in the house, Hanlon Jones. All right. Okay, so hopefully we'll get some mods, and we have 51 people watching. But all right, so let's start over. You wrote a book called The 21 Rules of Blackness.
21 Rules of Blackness, which is the best way to describe it. It's like a guide, a reference point for Black people to use, and it gives 21 rules on how to be the best version of yourself. And one of the rules was choose the right partner. Okay, Rule 12. And that rule is very popular, and I thought let's write a book on that rule, on choosing the right partner, because it's a big rule. Okay, so that's what we're here today. We want to just go through that and talk about how to choose the right partner. Some of the things that you need to look at, you need to consider in order when you make these big life-changing decisions, because it's make or break. You know, you choose incorrectly and it can ruin your life. Choose correctly and it can improve your life. So you know, that's what we're going to look at today. I'm not saying we're experts, but you know, there's a few little tips and tricks which you can take on board.
When you say we, I mean you co-author these books, right?
Yeah, so it's me and my wife write these together. So the good thing with that is it gives two perspectives. So it's not just a male perspective; it's a female and male perspective as well. So you know,
right. And you weren't married before when you wrote the first book. You guys were not completely coupled, right?
We weren't married when we wrote the first book, but we got married since the second book. Yeah.
Okay. So those watching, you know, this man made the right choice. I've met.
Yes, definitely chose the right partner, and yeah, and it's didn't always make correct choices, like, you know, from in my life, just like everybody though, like everybody, I'm sure.
All right. So if you're watching, please hit the like button. It helps us grow this podcast, gets the information out to more people in the algorithm. So, all right, how do you want to start, Jason?
So let's first of all, how are you, Mike?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm taking the summer off. I mean, not intentionally, but it gives me a chance to get caught up on all the things that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I hit the reset button. You know, like I think I needed the break. I needed a break because I was totally burned out before I started teaching. You know, the channel, the ups and downs of the channel definitely affected me in a way where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do next. But what's been great about teaching is the kids are automatically recharging me. You know, just to see young people who weren't even born in the last century. They're all like 20 years and younger, you know, so they're all born in this century, to hear their perspectives on life and career and this entertainment business has really revitalized me in a way that I can't wait to share what's next. But
yeah, no, it's good. Young people do give people a lot of energy as well, don't they? It's the you know, so it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Totally understand.
Yeah. So we're doing that, and then last night I had the pleasure of hanging out with Tony Rock and interviewing him. So that interview will be up soon, and you know, just trying to get more content up. You know, I'm not sure if like the summer, we traditionally see a dip in subscribers and viewership, but I've never seen it drop this precipitously, using big words tonight, folks. You know, so we've gotten half the number of new subscribers this month that we did last month, and I don't know if it's a weather related thing or if it's still the shadow banning, but you know, I'm so grateful to have you with us so that we can generate some new content for those people who are just discovering us and wanting to become part of the Real Black family, you know. So now I'm freezing, huh? Well, hopefully we'll get that fixed. Am I in sync?
Yeah, you're fine. There's a part where it's frozen, sped up, but no, it's all good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
It looks like I'm like a little bit off, you know. So I'll, pay attention to that and see what's going on. But
okay. So this session we want it to be interactive. Got people in the chats and stuff like that. So we'll be taking questions, reading out things from the chats, popping them up as we go through it. So I think it's not going to be a long one today. I don't think, not like some of the mammoth ones we've had before, where they're like 3.5 hours. But maybe be a nice short and sweet one, like within an hour or so. Maybe, but we'll see how we go. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see how the chat goes. Because I'm sure when we open the floor up, there'll be lots of people that want to be a part of this. Do you want to invite people in on screen or just entertain the chat? Yeah, we can do. Sometimes people have got things to get off their chest. If some things that we might say may strike a nerve with some people, and they want to share something as well. So yeah, absolutely, we can.
I'll put the StreamYard link there, and I'll also put it in the description if people want to join us later. It's just not the time, because we have a nice you put a nice, beautiful presentation together. But when the time comes, we'll definitely entertain you guys. So
yeah. Okay, so let's crack on with the presentation then. Let's go through this. Then. Yeah.
Bring this up.
Yeah. So one of the things, when we talk about choose the right partner, right? So in a lot of cultures, the choice when it comes to selecting a partner is removed. Okay, and parents decide. You get a lot of arranged marriages in a good portion of the world, right? But in the West, it's something that's left to us. We're left to our own devices. When you actually think about it correctly, parents can choose partners better than the children themselves. When you think about it, because they want what's best for you, and they know you on many occasions better than you know yourself at that point. Okay, because they were you at some point, right? So that's where we're going with it. And the thing is, not to say that arranged marriage is the way forward, it's better, but it's just to put some perspective into things in terms of when you're making the right choice. Okay, what are you choosing on? What you're basing your choices on? Okay, the parents are using their expertise, their experience, and other deciding factors. Okay, younger person is taking none of those things into consideration. When you get a bit older, you start being a little bit more. So what's the word I can use? You get a bit more particular, I guess, don't you, Mike? Yeah, in terms of what you're looking for.
Well, but, I think we all start off with a long list of ideals, and then as we get older, we're more willing to compromise on those lists, or maybe we're not, and then
it can go either way. Sometimes it can go up being alone. It can go either way. It can go where you're very particular when you're younger, and then you get older and you start to get less particular, or it can be less particular when you're younger and you get more particular when you're older, because some people get stuck in their ways. So these are all things that we got to take into consideration, right? So if I'm just gonna move in,
okay, you got the control
to the next one, right? So surface level and like a deeper level. So when we talk about relationships as well, this is something that you got to consider as well. Where or what stage is the relationship at? Is it a surface level? Is it a deeper level? How do you know? Yeah, how do you know, Mark? When you're seeing someone, how do you know if it's surface or deep? Because
I believe in those.
You can have a surface level relationship for years.
True.
Say again?
And we have a comment. This applies to everyone, right? This person saying that they're interested in same-sex relationships. Now, this choosing the right partner is not just a heterosexual thing, right?
Yeah. Well,
you froze.
Well, we're just talking about relationships
in general.
If you want to relate it to your own circumstances, you can do. I'm not.
Okay.
We're not getting into. Yeah, we're talking about relationships in general. So if you want to relate it to your own, so yeah, in terms of surface level and a deeper level, how do you know if you're in a relationship which is surface or deeper?
Good question. You're asking, is that a rhetorical question, or you want
Mike?
How much time?
How do you know? You personally?
If I enjoy spending time.
I was asking you how.
Huh? We're having trouble with the
if
connection.
You enjoy spending time.
That's one point. Clear communication is a good answer. The kid. Deep takes time.
Yeah. Deep takes time. Well, so do you think? So, question to the people watching. Then, would you say then that deeper level is all based on time? Then, is it all based on time?
Trust. But you're asking the chat.
I'm asking the chat. Yeah, pop it in the chat. Is it all based on time? So a lot of people put in time spent. So if you're with someone for 10 years, does that automatically move it to a level of depth?
I would hope that you were getting closer to depth after 10 years. There's many variables. Time isn't.
Well, I think Voya 44 has said a good thing. He's saying communication. So communication is what is the most important thing, which is going to bring it to a level of depth. You could be with someone for 10 years and still be on a surface level because you're not having meaningful conversation, meaningful communication. You know, if you just go out to a nightclub, get drunk, or just go on holidays, those kind of things, it's not going to ever move past that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, regardless of how much time you spend with each other, or how long you've been together, should I say? Does that make sense?
Right. That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yes, you could be with someone for 6 months, and your relationship could be much deeper than someone who's been with their partner for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think most of the people in the chat are agreeing that communication is key.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do to move it to a deeper level. And there's certain which I put in the book. There's certain like tells, certain little giveaways for you to know whether you're in a relationship of depth or a relationship, or whether it's still operating on a surface level.
Right.
And in the chat, like you guys in the chat, if you can pop in there, you might be able to figure some things out. Like what are some of the keys, or what are some of the clues to know that you're operating on a surface level still?
Okay, we can go through that. Yes, this is chapter 1 of the book. So if you're just tuning in, we're with Jason Clue, who's the co-author of the book Choose the Right Partner.
Yeah,
and we're talking about relationships. So we're in communication with the chat. It's a global thing. Feel free to chime in.
So the kid has said, how do we define the words we use in our communication?
Oh, I lost that one. Oh, that's your question. How do we define the words? Okay.
That's what he's asking. How do we define the words we use in our communication? It depends what you want to use the communication for. Are you using the communication to bring the relationship to a deeper level, or using the communication to stay on a surface level? So Chris Dragner saying, I think the base should be friendship and not love or lust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. Absolutely. You need
not
to like
love.
Hmm?
That's interesting. Not love. It's friendship first.
Well, I think you need to like each other first, because with love, he's making a good point. With love, you can love anything, can't you? Love doesn't always put you in the right headspace.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the first part anyway. So we're going to look at surface level, or whether it's a level of depth. Elizabeth's agreeing with Chris Dragnet. He's saying friendship will last. Absolutely.
Right. Well, I mean, your quote that opens the book, for those who are reading the book, can get it on Kindle. The depth of friendship does not depend on the length of acquaintance. So it's the opening quote for the book.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a few people agreeing with that, saying bingo. Right. So right here, right, I want to talk about this. Right. So when you purchase a car, this is to you guys in the chat. When you purchase a car, right, you usually don't plan on keeping the vehicle for more than 5 years these days, right? Very few people keep a car for more than 5 years. It's not like in the old days, right? So when you buy the car, you're not planning on keeping it for more than 5 years, yet you'll still carry out your due diligence, okay? Something that we refer to here, due diligence, when you're going to buy a car, before proceeding with your decision. So you're going to carry out these checks, right? You're going to do like an online review, find out how much the vehicle is going to cost to run, okay? Test drive the vehicle, check the vehicle history, get opinions from peers who have had similar vehicles in the past. You're going to test drive the vehicle again. You're going to get the car looked over by an expert. Yeah. And there's probably a few other things that's not even on that list that you do, right? Is that correct? Would you agree, Mike?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. But how many of you guys in the chat do similar due diligence when you are in the dating world?
Good question.
Question to you: how many of you guys do that?
Or just it looks good from the outside, just hop in and drive it off the lot.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what a lot of us are doing. Austin saying no. Saying if you who dates anymore? Well, people still date apparently. And what they're doing instead then, Chris?
Yeah, he's still. I'm checking out the book. So it seems like you have a checklist that you go.
Yeah, so I'm going to move over to that now. So if you look at this checklist, okay. So look at the checklist. So we know what due diligence looks like when we're buying a car, right? But what do we need to look at when we're choosing the right partner? So we give a list of things, and the thing with the checklist, which you can see on there, the checklist isn't about it's about how you perceive each one of these things. Okay, so appearance, age, family, level of education, eating and exercise habits, political stance, religious beliefs, social position, culture, earnings. Okay, and now it's not it's one that's important and one not so important. It's each category is what it means to you. Okay. Now, if you ask most people and say, when it comes to choosing a partner, what appearance do you want them to have? And they'll say, I want them to be gorgeous, I want them to be fantastic, I want them to be beautiful, I want them to be handsome. You know, that's what you're going to say, right?
Right.
And if I said that to you, Mike, is that correct?
Those are not prerequisites, but they're very important. Yes.
Right. You'd say that, wouldn't you? Right. And most people would. Okay. But now let's look at it like this. So if you have some insecurity issues, okay, say you've been cheated on before in the past, okay, or you've got like a bit, low self-worth, and then you get this person who looks like, if you're a lady, you get someone who looks like, the most best looking man in the world, or you're a guy and you get like, a Victoria's Secrets model, okay. How's that going to work if you then have issues about your own appearance?
Say that again?
I was saying, how's it going to work if you get your dream looking person, okay, but you've got issues about your own appearance? How's that going to work out?
You may feel very insecure about being with that person.
Yes.
And you may self-sabotage the relationship as a result.
Yeah, or be very paranoid every time the person goes out. Because you think, oh man, I don't look as good as they do, and they look so gorgeous, but I'm just so terrified that they're going to cheat on me. Yeah. So when you consider appearance, you have to take those factors into consideration. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's all well and good saying I want the most beautiful, but if you're, if you don't think you're that beautiful, okay, then it's going to be an issue. Okay. So Jason, are you following rules or principles more beneficial in finding a lasting partner, in your opinion? It's a lasting partner.
So
it's a lasting partner. The idea is you're going to pick right the first time. Okay, pick right the first time if you're reading this book for the first time, or pick right the last time if you've already had several relationships. That's the idea of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what do you think about Chris's comment here?
Unless you've got money, right? So there you go. So he's mentioned money, which is good, and then on that list, it's got earnings, doesn't it? So that segues nicely into earnings on the list. So earnings is something you have to consider as well, because if you ask again, most people, they'll say they want someone with money. Okay. If you ask a woman, she'll say she wants a man to have money. Okay. But then what if, the man earns way much more money than you? That could produce insecurities as well, couldn't it? Or if the person earns less than you. Okay, if you're a man and you like a man might not want to date a woman who's earning more money than him. You could be a high earning man, but the woman earns even more. How's that going to play out?
Yeah, it's a big challenge. I mean, especially here in the States where, women, a lot of women are out earn their men, because of the way the social situation is set up, social structure set up. Women tend to, they tend to, I'm not going to generalize, but a lot of women make more money than their prospective man does on the market, especially if they want to date inside their race. And I mean, what's your feeling on that interracial?
Well, that would come under culture. Okay. So culture is something you've got to consider as well. So cultural values, has someone got the same cultural values? Do you hold? I'll just pause there and just answer this question.
Oh, my fault.
My take is looks only last so long. We all get old and don't look as good as we do when we're younger. Absolutely, Voya. Voya's on point today. Yeah, exactly. So with that is how much importance are you going to put on appearance? Yeah, when you're looking at this checklist, because looks don't last; they fade, don't they? Okay, we're all gonna get uglier than we are. We're gonna get uglier as we get older. Yeah.
Speak for yourself. Wait, hang on. Time out. Speak for yourself, Jason Clue. I'm like fine wine over here.
Well, look. I don't know, man. Look, okay, maybe I shouldn't use the word ugly then. We're gonna look.
We change. We change.
We're gonna get less cute. We're gonna get less cute as we get older, right?
I've always been cute. I'm better than I've ever been, honestly. But anyway,
but it's gonna get.
I get what you're saying. I don't look.
It's gonna get to a point, Mike. Like it's like you're still ascending. You're still ascending, but it's gonna get to a point where you're gonna start descending at some point. Yeah, it might not be.
Like I'm gonna be like Harry Belafonte or somebody like that.
Gonna keep going. Okay.
Huh? That's my attitude. But anyway, I mean, I don't really take away from
Harry. But Harry Belafonte did look better at 40 than he did at 90, though. I think you have to agree with that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But in most cases, anyway. Most cases, look, like I say, there's as it says here, look. We deal with rules, not exceptions. So you're the exception, Mike. But most people don't continue to look better. Okay, but you're the exception to that.
No, I mean, my point is just we're all going to change, right? We're not going to be the same person that we first met, But if you were to meet me, I age like fine wine. I'm like a chair, to quote David Mamet. I'm like a chair that's built with no nails or screws. I just get stronger and more valuable as time goes on.
Yeah, that is.
I like how you said, yeah. Okay.
No, that is true. That is true. However, that's not basing it purely on appearance, though. Okay, if you add all the other factors in there, then that will. There's a few people agreeing with you, Mike. There's a few people agreeing with you, Mike. So
I'm fighting for us.
There's a few.
All right, but anyway, so your main point is that you should not base your list on appearances. That's setting yourself up for disaster.
Well, kind of, but not quite. It's saying that appearance is one of those things where you have to give it more consideration than we're currently giving, because it's not just about let's go for the person who looks the best, because that has an effect on that can have an effect on you if you don't look the best, and also looks don't last, they fade. All these things happen, so give it a little bit more thought than just I like the way she looks in that dress. Okay, is what I'm saying. Okay,
right. Where does humor come in on this thing? I love to laugh. I don't see that on the list, the checklist.
Well, it's because this focuses on the main things. The main things. Okay, many things can fall under these categories as subcategories. But we're touching on culture, weren't we? So culture.
Okay.
So actually, let's do it in order. So we've got appearance, then we've got age. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now the reason why age is on there is because that falls under life stages. Okay. Sometimes we're at different life stages with people. So if someone's 60 years old, them dating a 21-year-old, you got to take into consideration that you're going to be at different life stages, and you may want different things. Okay. All right. There's plenty of occasions where you have younger people like older people. That does happen. But you have to have a conversation around that and just make sure that you have the same, you're on the same path. Okay. Because they might be like, oh yeah, I want to travel the world. And you're thinking, well, look, I traveled the world 20 years ago. I want to do that again. Okay. Right. So you have to make sure things, that dynamic works. Okay. So you have to consider age as well. Right. So if you are wanting to date someone younger, make sure that they are on the same path as you. Okay. Make sense?
Makes perfect sense. Let's pause for a second for Denise's comment.
Yeah.
I never want
a man with money. Yeah.
His true love is the most important thing to me.
Okay. That's good to know. If there's any broke guys in the chat, yeah, you all got a chance then with Denise.
Oh, okay. Well, Denise, all right. There's no DM here, but anyway, we love Denise, and she's got a cute cat. I'm a cat person, so.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's in all seriousness, Denise. It's good. It's too many women these days are prioritizing money a lot. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's not about that. So looks are no replacement for character. There you go. Yeah, character or content. If you're attracted to a woman who wears makeup and repelled when you see her without it, you may be shallow. Yep, very true, Mr. Ronald. Absolutely. And then, so once we move from age, let's go to family. Okay, so family. How important is family to you? Okay, the person's family, your family. Now, because when you are dating someone and you're actually going to enter a relationship in terms of you're going to choose them as a partner, you got to think about the family. Okay. Now you touched on race as well. You can look at race when it comes into family as well. Okay, guests who come to dinner. That was one of the clips in the trailer, wasn't it? And that's something you got to consider. Okay, not just that as well, right? But you've also got to consider immediate family. What if the lady has 10 kids? Okay, you have no kids. Well, the man has 10 kids. The lady has no kids, right? So, these are things you've got to consider as well. Are you willing to take someone on with their children? Is someone willing to take you on with your children? Okay. Do you like the person's mother-in-law? Do you like the father-in-law? Do you like their brother? Do you like their sister? Right. These are all things that you have to consider. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Yeah, family is very important. Okay, because these are people you're not going to be able to get away from. They're going to be in your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're going to be in your life.
And the baby daddy issues, baby mama dramas also is a part
baby
of
mamas, baby daddies. Yeah, exactly. That comes with something as well. So these are things you have to consider. Then we've got level of education.
This sounds. Wait, hang on. Let me take this away for a second. All right, so we're Jason Clue, author of Choose the Right Partner. Now, this sounds like a lake that I don't want to jump into. You're making this very scary for me.
Well, not really, because it's just giving you tools. It's giving you tools that you didn't have before. Would you rather go to battle with a sword and shield, or go to battle with a paper cup and toothbrush?
I feel like I need my mother back so she can vet these women. I don't know if I'm qualified to take on all this information, because
wow,
I might be shallow, Ron. I don't know.
It's these are things we have to consider, right? So level of
Absolutely, yeah.
education
For long term, sure.
No, long and short. Because look, going back to this, right? Sorry, it's going to come. Right, going back to this surface and deeper level. When you say long term or in short term, right? You can you can plan to go into a short term relationship, yeah, because it's just surface level. So you just like enjoy going out for drinks. You know, you just like share a few stories with them, go to the movies, theater, just like some companionship. And you think it's just short term. It's just short term. You know, it's not serious. It's not serious. And before you know it, you've been in a 10-year surface level relationship. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
So and then you've wasted 10 years. And in those 10 years, you could have been trying to find someone you wanted to go deep with. Yeah, does that make sense? And
yeah, you don't want to waste anybody's
time. I know you guys in the chat know what I'm talking about because we've all been guilty of that, I'm sure. Right, because we're all kind of grown people in here tonight. Yeah,
you look up and you've wasted your time and you wasted the other person's time, and
you've wasted each other's time. Yeah. You know, and it was supposed to be just not serious, but then it's been not serious for 10 years, 5 years. Even if it's 1 year, it's still a waste of time. Okay. Right. So bringing it back to here. So level of education. Denise has said something good if you want to bring that up. For me, family is the most important thing in the world. And if my mate does not agree on that, then there would be no relationship. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Denise gets it. Yeah, the person needs to be in your family. Yeah, family and culture are connected.
Yeah.
Yes, they are connected in some ways, but we'll get into that in a minute when we get there. So we've got level of education, right? So level of education. What do you think? What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you, Mike? Level of education.
Well, you know, education also is tied into what people want out of life. If they value education, and it also allows you to have deeper communication if people are on the same page and wavelength as far as how they see the world or what they've learned about the world in their lifetime. So yeah, I think that's a big factor for sure.
But the thing with that is, Mike, as well, is which you have to consider is, so you're an educated guy, right? That's fair to say. You're a smart man.
Yeah, I went to schools.
Yeah. Now, some men are very intelligent, like yourself, very smart, very educated, but they wouldn't want a woman who's as educated as them.
Now, why is that? Why do you say that?
Well, the chat can tell you that. I don't know the answer to that exactly, but there's plenty of men who don't want a woman might not want a woman who's the same education level as them.
Okay.
I'm not sure it works as common the other way around, but it's definitely I've definitely heard men. Here you go, ego. I've definitely heard plenty of men who are extremely intelligent and they don't want a educated woman. So that's something you have to consider as well. So
that's a way of controlling somebody as well. You know.
Say again, sorry.
That's a way of controlling. It sounds like.
You know what? We like them dumb. Yeah, no, it's not always about controlling though, Mike. I think sometimes what it is, you have some men where they're thinking that if the woman has the same education level as me, I'm not saying I'm one of these men, by the way. If the woman has the same education level as me, I don't want to have to come home and have and be arguing and debating and having all this back and forth with my woman. Yeah, I think sometimes it's that they look at it as almost rivalry, and you know.
Yeah. So that's interesting that you would point that out, because I've always tried to find partnership with people I go out with. Like, you know, if I can work with them together, then that's the ideal situation for me. But
yeah, but then but also the other way around as well. If you're not educated, if you're not particularly educated, then do you want to go with someone who's super educated?
No.
Yeah, so that's what you have to consider as well. And also just mentioning when we talk about level of education. Level of education doesn't automatically mean a college or university education.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can have a high level of education and be self-taught. Does that make sense?
True. Absolutely
Yeah.
true. That makes
So
perfect
it's not
sense.
because I'm sure we've all met
That's what they were saying earlier about education versus intelligence. Troy.
Yeah. Yeah, education versus intelligence. Yes, education doesn't automatically equal, a high level of intelligence. It's education in terms of, do you want someone who values education, who's into reading, into professional development, self-development, these kind of things here. Okay, so it's just something you have to consider.
But I would challenge all the intelligent people who are watching. Jason, hold up the book again. To go out, you can get this on Kindle for under $5. Choose the right partner. And if you're really smart, you'll have one of these hats, Real Black hats, shop.realblack.com. Okay, back to our previously.
Yeah, so then we look at eating and exercise habits, right? So again, if you say to someone, what partner do you want? They'd say, I want someone who's fit and healthy, okay, and eats, all the right food. But if you're not doing that, why would you want that?
Right.
Okay. So it's giving you that perspective of looking at things. Okay. Now, if I'm not in the best shape at the minute, why would I want someone who's in tremendous shape? Okay. Yes, they could help you get in tremendous shape too. Okay. But then you may pull them down.
Right.
Yeah. Because you might be thinking, oh, you know what? Just meet me halfway. Okay. So it's a two-way thing. You can't always think that you want that because it might not be what you want. Yeah, like if you're not the best eater in the world in terms of like eating all the right food and running 10 miles, 10 miles in the morning, then why would you want someone who wants to do that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can't be laying in the bed and your partner is out there running marathons. It doesn't add up. But I'm big into metaphysics. I don't think you attract those people to you. I think like attracts like ultimately, and the universe controls a lot of that kind of thing. I mean, before we move on, I mean, tell me a personal story. I mean, how did you find the right partner? Because I'm still looking, folks.
Yeah.
I'm still
how I found it was wow, it's going to sound a little bit airy fairy, I guess. It's you have a picture in your head of what you want, and then before I even wrote this book, I kind of had a list of things. It wasn't as detailed as this, and then when you meet people, I had in my head, I was like very much like, look, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm not even going to speak to someone or entertain anybody unless they are in that pool or that area or in that area code of what I'd be looking for. Okay, if they're in that area code, then I can work with them, because the bottom line is no one's ever going to be the finished article. No one's going to be the perfect person. You can work with them, and then you're going to the time you spend, they're going to change a few bits about you, and you're going to change a few bits about them. And when I use the word change, I'm not using the word change as in some kind of like modern leftist way, which means control, okay, or a bad thing. My wife has changed things about me. I've changed things about her. You sink, you start to sink, don't you? You start to chip away and just change a few things to make them more compatible for you, because we're individuals, aren't we, as well? Yeah, and then you have to then change a little bit in order to be able to work together.
Well, I think she might have changed you more than you changed her. I think women have a way of getting the most out of a man. So,
yeah. Well, maybe the changes that the man makes are more noticeable, so that the woman makes them more noticeable than what the man makes. But I don't know. It's for me, it's about cooperation with a spouse. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, but so there wasn't a big spark. You literally sent your resume out and you said, "This is what I'm looking for."
It was a bit of that, yeah, to the universe, and then once you kind of like have an idea in your head, it's a bit like it's what do they call it, Beta Meinhof. You heard of that? When you've got all the frequency theory. Like for example, if you buy a particular car, and then you start seeing that car all the time.
Right.
Yeah, or you buy a pair of trainers or a pair of sneakers, and then you start seeing everyone with that, or a jacket, or whatever it is. Yeah, or you start. I don't know. It could be you start working out, and all of a sudden you start meeting loads of people who work out. Or it could be you start reading and you meet people with books in their hand all the time. Once you start to put yourself in a particular frame of mind. Yeah, then it's like you're saying, like attracts like.
Law of attraction. Yeah,
exactly. You start that type of people start coming towards you, and the people who you don't want near you don't come. Yes, there's a bit of that, without sounding too philosophical or metaphysical, should I say?
Well, I'm just extremely happy for you, and we're just curious how you found your right partner.
Yeah. But like I said, there's a science to it. Because you can very easily meet the wrong person, but not realize they're the wrong person. But there's always when you start looking at this list, then there's always red flags. You can meet someone. There's always little signs where you shouldn't proceed, and you're thinking, "Is this really a sign? Is this really a sign?" And you go and proceed anyway. And then 6 months, 1 year, 2 years down the line, you're like, that was a sign. Yeah.
Well, I think I've been down that road for sure.
Yeah, you think there's definitely some portents of doom. Yeah, right. So, but we don't often read into it, or sometimes if we are a little bit deep, we can look at it and think, oh, maybe it's a test. Maybe I have to overcome this particular obstacle as a test, to prove my desire. Yeah.
Right.
So there is a bit of that. But eating exercise habits, that makes sense, guys? Yeah. So it's not just about we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
Okay, we'll hold it then. Okay.
We're going to get to that with opposites attract. Yeah. So eating exercise habits. So you agreed with me on that one so far, Mike, as well?
Yeah, I feel like you have to enjoy being with one another because you're making an investment in each other's life in some way. Yeah. And that you have to have a lot of things in common, and these are sort of the prerequisites, in a way. You're saying that sometimes opposites attract, and you don't necessarily want to have somebody as educated or as financially stable as you. I mean,
it's not always as straightforward as same. So it's not like I'm rich, I need a rich person, or it's or I'm young, I need a young person,
right?
I'm handsome, I need a beautiful woman. It's not always that straightforward. Sometimes it is a case of based on how my mind is. I'm an older person, I need a younger person. Okay, like situations with, especially with age as well. It could be a case of a man's 40 years old, 45 years old, and he has no children. Okay, and he wants children. So what would be the point of him going out with a woman who's 45? Because she might be over that already, or might have some children herself. Yeah,
right.
So then you have to look at age differently and thinking, actually, you know what? I actually need a younger woman because if a woman my own age won't work for me in this stage of my life. Yeah. Right. So these are things you have to consider.
Well, out of all the things so far, I think the family thing is the most important thing, because when you're connected to one person, you're connected to their family as well. Especially if you're talking about a marriage. or a situation. You're marrying the whole family, and the relationship that they have with their mother or the relationship they have with their father is really important, I think, to me as well.
Yeah.
Like that's if you talk about red flags, how a man treats their mother and the relationship that a woman has with their father is probably my number one sort of signal, you know, if I'm going long term. So what do we have next? Is he frozen again? All right. Let's see. Until you come back, I'll just go through these chats. I observe her and her dress code. Also, if she's a bit of a nerd, then whoa. I'm gonna remove him and then bring him back in. Hopefully that'll reset it. Are you back?
Did I just disappear then?
You were frozen. You were like the abominable snowman there for a second.
Okay, right.
Or Mitch McConnell. You turned into Mitch McConnell for a second, so I had to take you away first and bring you back.
Okay, cool.
So where are we next? Political
stance. So political stance, and you know, in the US, political stance is very, very polarized. A lot more so than it is here in terms of left and right. And again, is something they have to think about. So when we think about political stance as well, it's not just, you know, I'm left, they're right. It's their political view on pretty much anything. Okay, so it could be, you know, it could be their political stance on. Well, I don't want to get too political, but you know, you know, you get the general idea. Okay, could even be something as simple as Black Lives Matter, for crying out loud. Yeah, you know. So these are things you have to consider. Okay, and these are also, say again, sorry,
to be in alignment with on one way or the other.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And then these things links to family, because then if you have children going down the line, and this is why religious beliefs is, you know, comes into that as well. Then when you have children, yeah, how's your political stance going to line up when you want to raise children? Okay. Now, this goes back to surface and depth, right? So just flick it back here again to surface and depth, right?
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Where is it?
Right.
Yeah. Political stance. Political stance is when you're in a deeper level, when you can have those conversations about political stance. Surface level, you're not having those conversations. Okay, guys? You're not having those conversations. You're never going past the surface. You're not going beyond. What's your favorite drink? Do you like Cavossier or do you like Remy Martin? Okay. Do you like you know, Usher, or do you like Jada Kids? Okay. Right. So this is these are the things. So political stance, religious beliefs, these are things which go beyond that surface level. Okay. All right. So religious beliefs, again, and it's not. It doesn't necessarily have to be as obvious as someone's a Muslim and the other person's a Christian. Religious beliefs can just be someone's an atheist and someone's spiritual. You know, like if you're
well, yeah, I think a lot of people would put that number one on their list. You know, who do you worship, or where do you worship, becomes the number one on a lot of people's list. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So then we've got religious beliefs as well. So it's you know, it's something that we have to definitely bear in mind. Social position. Okay, so look at social position. So what do you think? What do you think? You know, we mean when we say social position then?
Exactly that. I don't know if I can come up with a synonym. The social status, where you are in life and where you intend to go with your life, becomes important. I mean, and that can be
class. Does class spring to mind?
Class is a factor, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, when we talk about social position, we talk about class. And you know, if someone is if you're middle class, the other person's working class,
Mm-hmm.
You know, how's that going to work? These are things you have to think about as well in terms of social class. Yeah, social position. Okay, so you might have all this loads of things in common, but due to the social class, that's going to play a factor in terms of how the relationship may pan out going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So, right, yeah, Chris, made an example of a political stance that some people.
I don't want to go there on the chat.
yeah. But yeah.
So I'll put this one up there. You know.
Yeah,
that's random.
Yeah.
What was the choice for Chris? Cavassier, or what was the other drink?
Oh, Cavassier or Remy Martin, was it?
Or Remy? Yeah, that's a good question for Chris, but because this is a total non sequitur, Chris. You know it.
Yeah, no need pork. Yeah, so middle class and working class blurred. A little bit now, I guess. Well, not really. I don't know. If you're working in a coal mine and someone is working in a as a teacher, it's
you may not even have an opportunity to meet in those kind of social settings. So
because you got the if you're like upper middle class, you're going to the country club, and the working class person's going to the isn't going to the country club.
Well, so, I mean, this is good information. I'm sorry, Jason. This is good information, but it raises the question, where are good places to meet your right partner? I mean, where do you find alignment with that? Like, I mean, everybody's jumping to Tinder nowadays and dating apps and so on and so forth. But
yeah, there is a section on where do you find the person, and without telling you everything that's in the book, it's one of those ones where you have to go to places to find, like, look, if you was gonna go and buy a steak, a big piece of steak, where are you gonna go?
Probably a restaurant or a steakhouse.
You go to a steakhouse, right? Yeah. You wouldn't go to an ice cream van.
No.
Right, and it's
I wouldn't find what I was looking for there.
Right, and it's that. Okay, it is that. Too often we're going to the wrong places to try and find the right things, and then when we come back with the wrong things, we wonder why. Yeah. So if you went to the ice cream van and came back with ice cream, but you said to me when you was going out, you was going to get a steak, I'm going to look at you and think, why'd you go to the ice cream van to get a steak, Mike? And Mike's going to say to me, oh, because it's the first place I saw and I always go there. Yeah. And then the next day you do the same thing again. Okay. At some point you think to yourself, you need to go to the steakhouse.
I say this ice cream tastes a lot like steak. No, I'm a big Wu-Tang fan, so I think there's a place for ice cream and there's a place for steak.
Yeah, but where do you want to find the steak? Where are you going to find the steak?
Troy has a list here: to go to the grocery store, parks, the gym, not going to a hookah lounge for my girlfriend. It's almost common sense.
Right. Okay.
I don't know the steak game. All right, touche.
Yeah, and notice. Did you notice that she didn't mention the nightclub?
Oh yeah, well I think that Chris was saying it's a little played out because of dating apps now.
What's played out? Nightclub.
I think that's what he was alluding to. Let me see if I can find the comment. Unless he wants to repost it. But he was let me see where did he say that? Am I wrong, Chris? You're saying something similar to nightclubs being not the where do you find a mate is the question. And nightclubs might not be the best place to find somebody that you want to have a partnership with. But okay, well, he's using the steak metaphor still, but yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of steak you want. Okay. Well, steak Do they have steak in Europe, in England? Minute steaks, steak it's like a formed meat. You chop it up and you make a sandwich with it, or it's like a sheet of meat that's processed, and you fry it on each side for a minute. You throw it in a bun. So
I haven't heard of that one. But then look, I've been pescatarian for like 17 years, so I haven't even seen a steak in like for a very long time. Well, a beef steak, I've seen like a tuna steak, but I haven't seen a beef steak for a while. Yeah. I think there is a shortage of men on dating apps because they don't get much success in meeting women. Word of the day is male or female? Are you a man? You got a picture of Snake Plissken there, but are you a man? Word of the day?
He's typing, but I'm assuming male. But anyway,
yeah. I'm assuming.
But yeah, anyway, so it depends on what kind of steak you want. I think that's the line. So
yeah,
but you can't find any kind of steak at the ice cream truck.
Well, that's the point. Yeah, they don't sell steak, they never have, and they probably never will. But yeah, people will still go there to try and find something different to ice cream. Okay, so
no, this is good.
That's the point we're making. And we go to culture. Okay.
And
we get to culture, right? So culture. What does culture mean? What does culture mean to you, Mike? What does culture mean to you?
Well, I mean, do you share the same belief systems and backgrounds culturally? As an African American, my culture is very important. Obviously, proprietor of Reelblack, my culture is very important to me. To represent my culture is super duper important. So I would want somebody who's in alignment with that value system. And I guess it differs from religious beliefs, right? Because you have that as a separate thing. So race, ethnicity, cultural backgrounds, how you're raised outside of class and social position. I think that's where you're going with it, right?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. Okay. It's just things you have to consider. So culture is one of those things again where when you're seeing someone on a surface level as well, it might not seem important because you're thinking, oh, we both like the same music, because that's a culture, isn't it? They say hip hop culture, rap culture, so you could share the same culture in that sense, but then when you go a little bit deeper, there's cultural values which may not be in alignment. Okay, so these are things you have to consider, right? And then earnings, I touched on before, didn't I? We did touch on earnings and said that it's not necessarily
you
that
got
simple.
to have a job if you want to be with me.
Well, yeah, that's the modern woman, isn't it? They want every man to have a job. What's going on? It's not like the good old days.
Well, you just show up. Hey,
yeah,
man. Who are you, man? Well, how far back do you want to go? I guess
I was the 80s.
We had a club and you just hit people over the head. And
I think the
80s, whatever.
The 80s when you didn't need a job and you could just still get a good woman, and they'd pay all the bills. I'm joking, by the way, guys. I'm joking. Right.
Yeah.
A man always needs to provide. Okay, yeah. Tiff there, nothing going on but the rent. Yeah, that's right. That became an anthem, didn't it? That's right. So cultures and subcultures can play a part in choosing a long-lasting marriage. They can.
Yeah.
They can.
Absolutely.
They can.
This is just getting us to the start of it. So,
right. So, someone said opposites attract. How true is this? How true is opposites attracting? Okay, how true is that? In the chat, tell me how true do you think that is? How true do you think that is, Mike? Opposites attract.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the photo of this young lady, and there's nothing attractive to me about her, honestly, because of the hair thing. I'm really into natural hair.
That hair is natural, isn't it? Looks natural.
It looks like it was naturally put on her head.
Oh, I'm not that good at identifying wigs.
Wigs and weaves. No, it's too long. It's too long. It's processed or something. But anyway, I'm not a hair expert either. But I would consider her my opposite. I'm not attracted to her, so I don't know.
Okay, but opposites. So you don't believe opposites attract?
I think that we can complement one another. Especially when you look at the list that you put up, you know, that we sometimes, if we're finding partnership in a relationship, that sometimes another person's weakness can be your partner's strength, and you pull one another up in that respect. But yeah, as Tiff says, I think opposites do attract, but you often connect on your similar core values.
Yeah,
So
and what
brings a little layering into the argument.
Yeah, what Tiff? I was going to say what Tiff is saying is very accurate, but I'll build on that in a moment. Sorry, get that one back up from Anthony. I didn't see what it was.
Yeah, well, we're here now, Anthony. We're opposites attract.
Yeah. So why are you taking so long to talk about culture? This is what people want to hear. What your views are on mixed relationships. Okay.
Well, you wrote a whole book about it, right?
Yeah. So look, on mixed relationships. So this segues into this, doesn't it? In terms of opposites attracting. So people might think, opposites attract. Now, yeah, opposites can attract, but will opposites stay together? Someone popped in the chat. Yeah, that they and her husband were opposites and they've been together for 38 years. Now, I'd probably, say that they've got more things in common than they have not in common. That's what I would personally say. Okay. Now, Anthony Oxford, what you said there about the about mixed relationships. When you talk about mixed relationships here, you want to be more specific. I think I know where you're going, but just be a bit more specific. Are you talking black, white?
It's just a term dynamic for interracial.
Yeah, black, white.
Yeah.
So look, when it comes to relationships are always going to work better the more things you have in common.
I'll take this away for a second. Hang on. Go ahead.
Yeah, relationships are always going to work better the more things you have in common. The less things you have in common, the harder it's going to be. That's just fact. Okay. So with that list, when you go through that list, in terms of when you look at family, culture, the social, religious beliefs, all these things, if someone is of a different, completely different race to you, then it's going to make those things difficult to hit.
Right.
Okay. So, not to say it can't work, because I'm sure there's people out there where it can work, but it's just going to be a lot harder. Okay. And this book is, is designed to make it easier for you. Okay, not harder.
All right, you kind of tiptoed around that one. So you're for love, is what you're saying.
I don't think I was tiptoeing around that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a yes or a no. I mean, do you believe that you can have long lasting, stable relationships if you have if you come from different races? Now you're in England, so it's a little.
I'm in England, yeah. So look, I'll answer it like this, right? I believe that you can, right? However, you can. But I think you can't if you want to be the best version of your black self. Does that make sense? So if you want to be the best version of your black self, then no, you can't. Okay. But if you want to adopt a different culture and want to be a little bit different to how you may have started out in this world, then yeah, of course you can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that answers the question. Yes.
Yeah, there's certainly, and we all know there's certain black people who you meet, and they feel more comfortable in spaces that aren't black.
Right.
So
and I would encourage people to check out the first book.
Yeah.
To see more about what the rules of blackness are and unifying. I mean, but I think we're pro love. I think love has no color. But like you said, if you're coming from different places, it could be more challenging.
Yeah. Look, like I said, just to make sure there's no confusion on that. Like I say, there are some people who are better suited to a different race person because they, that's where they've. So the term black is a social construct.
Oh, sorry.
Agreed. Sorry, go back. Yeah, the term black is a social construct. Black is a color, not a race or I'm familiar with that, but we're just using terms that people know. Agreed, Jason. It's a little crazy to date or marry someone who would have sold you back in the day.
That's a bit harsh, but anyway.
Yeah, but Troy, there's some people who don't think like that. Okay, and they are more than happy to make a life with someone who's of a different race. And sometimes they make successful ones as well.
Yeah, sometimes that's the opposite that attracts. So
yeah.
So,
but yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I mean, it took so long answering the question. I don't even know if Anthony is still in the room, but if he is, hopefully we can get a thumbs up on that. And if you haven't already, thumbs up the conversation so it will continue to spread. We've got 45 people in the room, and I guess we're kind of winding it down, right? So
yeah, we're winding it down. Yeah. So it was this is the last one. So it just comes down to this, which I touched on. Denise is saying something. He said, "I will say that sometimes opposites do attract, but not necessarily all the time, and that's something that you really need to be prepared for." Mm-hmm. Yeah. So common ground. Yeah. So the more common ground that you have with someone, it's going to produce the most successful results. Mm-hmm. Is the this is how true is that? It's a question, but I think everyone's going to agree with that. I don't know whether everyone's disagreeing with that. Anyone disagreeing with that? That common ground is going to produce the best results.
I think if you want the same things in life and in a relationship, then you have the best chance to succeed. And I think that goes to all the things that you've been saying about this. I mean, I like the word alignment, but and those are the deep conversations that need to be had, or else you're just wasting one another's time, in my opinion. But here's a question: there's some luck or fate involved in the whole deal sometimes. I think it's all luck and fate, but I think it's also, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, the willingness to put yourself out there. You know, like you made a list of what it was you were looking for, and you found it. The universe helped you find it. So, you know what?
Yeah, I think sometimes with luck, with luck, we can often create our own luck. That means good and bad luck. Who's the golfer? Was it what's the golfer's name? Gary Player? What's his name? Something Player. Okay. The golfer.
Look, you're on Real Black TV. We don't know nothing about no golf.
And he said, the more I practice, it's funny enough, the more I practice, the luckier I get. It's a good quote, though. It's a good quote. He said, the more I practice, the So
I'm sure we'd all know it if Tiger Woods.
Good quote, yeah. And yeah, we can produce our own luck and also. Sadly, Tiger Woods. He didn't. I should have just said Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods didn't.
Well, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. You know, that's a whole nother. I don't want to go all the way down that.
For me, I must say that I do come from an interracial background. I know some people say that it's hard, but through a wonderful family upbringing, it's been great for me. Thank you. Of course. And like I say, it's you know, at least look, it can work. It can work. Okay, but it just means it involves more work. Okay, you can make anything work. It's just a matter of how hard you want to try it. Okay, to make something work, and what we're trying to do with this is to not make you work as hard.
Right.
Okay, and that's the idea with this.
But it seems to me one of the things that you're saying is that you don't get what you want unless you ask for it, you know, and you have to be very clear about what it is that what you're willing to deal with or put up with or what you actually want, because the universe, though in my experience, I'm a very metaphysical person, it doesn't understand the word no, right? So I think too often we end up in unhappy situations because we don't know necessarily what we want, but we know what we don't want. And the universe has a way of testing us with those same experiences. So if you say, I don't want this, you know, then the universe doesn't know the word no. It just brings you what it is that you said, that vibration that you related to. So
yeah, and with the universe,
straight path is clowning me. No, it's real. Karma's real. When you wake up,
100% real. Karma's 100% real.
Yeah.
And the thing as well, like with what you said there, Mike, as well, is that you know, the universe, you have to be very specific. Yeah, it doesn't do vague. You know, it doesn't do vague. If you're saying I want to be happy,
well, it does what it does, and you know, I've lived enough life where I can look back and see how my energy has affected my outcomes. So.
Yeah, something you should look into, Straight Path. It's you know, you've got scientists who will who can actually you know, support what Mike's saying with theorem. Okay, with theorem on yin and yang and how the universe works.
The beautiful thing about the way the universe works is it doesn't matter if you believe in it or if you don't, it still works. You know, gravity applies to everyone. It doesn't just apply to me. You know, I don't have control over all of gravity. Doesn't revolve around me. It's the way everything is aligned. And I think the same thing happens if you want to go deeper into this idea. You know, the relationships, who we attract to us in life. I mean, the fact that we're all here together now in this space watching this, you know, is law of attraction in a way. So
yeah.
And we appreciate you. We'd appreciate you more if you bought his book and you bought my hat. But anyway.
So Linnea is just part there. What we need and what we want are two different things. Yeah. So absolutely, it's a good point you just made there. You know, sometimes we don't always know what we need, okay, but we go after what we want. So and that's the point as well. This book here, yeah, is trying to give us an understanding of what we need. It's making us look at what we need, and like the categories. Yeah, when we look at the actual categories in the checklist, okay, it is broken down into you and them. Okay, and we look at each category. Okay, we look at age. Yeah, what you know, what is it that you want from them, and what is it you need for yourself? Okay, so that's something you have to look at as well, needs and wants. So yeah, good question. So the best person for me showed up when I wasn't looking. Okay, did you take them? So you might have shown it when you weren't looking, and then they may have you may have not realized because you wasn't looking. That often happens. So did that have a happy ending, Elizabeth? Hopefully it did.
Hopefully that raises another question for me. I mean, you know, we're conditioned through these movies and TV shows and different things like that. I mean, Black people, I think we're a mess because the relationship examples that we get tend to have a lot of dysfunction in them. But you know, do you have to be happy all the time with your partner, or is it okay to have a fight or to take a break from one another, so on and so forth?
Just responding to Liz. So that was the husband then who's shown it when she weren't looking. Okay, that's good. So do you need to be happy all the time, Mike? Good question. And no, you don't need to be happy all the time. But one thing that you definitely don't need to be is sad all the time. Okay, so it's not just happy and sad. Okay, you can have happy and you can have normal. Okay, and it all depends on what your normal is. Okay, if your normal is throwing plates at each other, okay, or whether your normal is just respecting each other and enjoying each other's company, okay, then you know you want a nice normal, okay, and then you're gonna have then your highs can come off that normal, but you want to create a very good solid base normal.
Oops, I'm sorry.
Anthony's still there. Good. Oh, nice one, Anthony. Respect for addressing that point. Yeah, thank you. That's a real nice profile picture you got there, Anthony, as well. Very professionally done, isn't it? Looks like an actor.
Yeah. Very good. Appreciate you being here.
Some of those headshots. Yeah, nice one, Anthony. Right, so that if there's any other questions that you want to add to that, then so are we all in agreement? Can I get like if you're in agreement with that, just drop a Y in the chat if you're in agreement with that. So comment around
if you enjoyed the hangout.
Just drop a Y in the chat if you agree with that statement.
I'll start it off. I mean, I think the chat's a little behind our conversation. That's the only thing. That's why things are. I'll put my one there, but yeah. So a lot like I'm trying to find like so you talk about place to find your mate. The dating apps, are they positive or negative in terms of that? I think all of social media in a way has conditioned us to not settle or not want to settle. You know what I mean? Like, okay, all right, I don't like this woman anymore. I'm gonna swipe left, get the next one. I don't like this guy anymore. I'm gonna go slide in this guy's DM. You know, and I think it's made it a lot harder for relationships to settle into a comfort zone.
What you said there, Mike, is very true, very accurate, because you know, before social media, people didn't believe, the key word being believe, right, or belief. because again, it's all relative. People didn't believe they had as many options as they do now. Okay,
Right.
so do people have more options? Maybe, maybe not. We don't really know. But do they believe they have more options? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The average person believes they've got more options now than they did 20 years ago. Okay,
Right.
regardless of their appearance, their age, their social position, their earnings, yeah, whatever it is, they believe they've got more options, and that's because social media makes you believe you have more options. Okay,
Right.
and that is a major issue in terms of relationships being more stable, more solid, more secure. It makes them more fragile because each person in the relationship always thinks that there's options for them. Whereas, once upon a time when people didn't have the social media, they're like, wow, who else would, not to say it's a good thing, thinking, wow, who else would want me? Or the man's thinking, well, I can't do better than her, can I?
Right.
Yeah. And you stick it out. Whereas now,
Yeah, it used to be the girl next door.
Yeah, you go with the girl next door. Yeah,
or the guy in history class, and that was it. Those were your options.
Yeah. You see the girl at the bus stop, and then you speak to her, and then you start dating. Whereas you go speak to the girl at the bus stop now, she's saying to you, "We talking about going to Dubai? I'm getting flown out to Dubai like next week. What are you talking about?"
Buy my OnlyFans if you want to see me.
Yeah, so there's a bit of that. So look,
AI is going to destroy the world. It's going to be all worthless. All this relationship stuff is going to be totally irrelevant once AI takes over. We're all going to be in our virtual echo chambers, and we're going to be fed exactly what we want at all times, and have this illusion of happiness. Meanwhile, we're not going to procreate, and society's going to be doomed. But until that happens, you got to get Jason's book, Choose the Right Partner, because it can be a lonely life if you're not careful and you believe in all this AI and machines and stuff. We all need human connection, right? So Choose the Right Partner is the book. You can get it in softcover or Kindle, but it's well worth the time and energy to read it. So anyway, I'm just going through the chat at the end, letting people catch up with us. Did you enjoy the conversation? We're almost at 90 minutes, and I know it's late where you guys are in the UK. Anthony's in the UK as well, it turns out.
A fellow Brit. Nice one, Anthony. The name was a giveaway, maybe Anthony Oxford, but
Okay. So any final thoughts or things that you want to say, Jason?
Final thoughts are, look, this book will help you, to choose the right partner. Okay, get it right the first time, and if it's not your first time, it'll help you to get it right the last time.
More people, what I learned was more people take more time in choosing a car than they do the right mate, and then that can lead to disaster. So put the same amount of effort into it. And also, I guess the theory that the universe is a creature, that's a new one. That's a new one to me. I think we're all, everything is everything.
Denise wants the name of the book again. Choose the Right Partner.
Yeah, and there's a link to purchase it in the description of this video. So Amazon, where else can you find it?
Amazon's the main place. And the other thing as well, which I want to just point out as well, some of you people in here, I know Miss Elizabeth has been married for 38 years. It doesn't mean you can't read this, right? Just because you chose the right partner, Miss Elizabeth, it doesn't mean that you can't read and enjoy this, because it will just strengthen what you already have. And also, you may have some children. Read this, and then you can just drop the knowledge on them and help and assist them in choosing the right partner. Okay, and look, even if it's not for that, you can read it for entertainment. Okay,
just read it. Or
I'll
buy
say
it.
hi to my. I'll say hi to my wife for you, Linnea.
Yeah. Let me see. Lori, we touched on that a little bit, but yeah, look at your in-laws, your future in-laws also.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay.
The most important thing in any relationship is being able to take a break from one another because we're only human. See, I think that's true. I mean, you don't want to cheat.
Break, bro.
Yeah, you don't want to cheat, but just to like, hey, give people their space,
Yeah, you can give them like breaks in terms of other side of the house. Yeah. And like you say, space. Yeah.
Like, I met you here. I'm going back to the club. Swiping and finding somebody else. That's not going to satisfy anybody. It's not going to be. You're not a mature person if you can't respect the fact that we're all human and that we have that that we need to be understanding, communicative of one another. Well, I just want to take a minute. If we're winding it down, I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank the mod squad. I see Chris Dragnet is in the building. I see Voyeur. I don't know if he's still here or if he's just listening right now. But we definitely appreciate the intelligence and respectfulness of the chat. I think we had a good discussion, right?
Yeah, it was a good discussion. And you know what? I'd like to revisit this topic again. And
okay,
I'd like to revisit this topic again in a few months. After you guys have read the book, that'd be good.
Okay. All right. So now you give me homework. I just finished teaching 2 classes this last semester. Now I got homework. I got to read Jason Clue's Choose the Right Partner book.
But you guys as well. I want you to, so we can have this discussion again. Then we can maybe we could have a regular.
Well, I know you want to come back. And next time, what are we going to talk about again?
We got that was wearing the dresses, wasn't it? The actors wearing the dresses.
I didn't download that. Wait, hang on. Let me see if I have that here. You sent me the thumbnail. Let me see if it's still here. Just to give you guys a teaser of what's next. That's a video. It was a thumbnail?
It's the video.
Oh, okay, I see it. It's tied up. Let me see if I can get it real fast. But everybody's doing it. Okay, it's coming. I can show this real fast. Download.
Thank you, Tiff.
Oh, wait, hang on. Oops, hit the wrong button.
Thanks, Miss Elizabeth.
Thank you. All right, let me see if I can pull this up. So this is a teaser, a sneak preview of our next conversation whenever we do it. Probably next month, probably sometime.
Yeah, probably be next month now. Yeah.
I think this is it. Let me just make sure. Today, 8:36 p.m. All right, here we go.
When a straight man puts on a dress and gets his sexual kicks, he is a transvestite. When a man is a woman trapped in a man's body and has the little operation, he is a transsexual.
I know that.
When a gay man has way too much fashion sense for one gender, he is a drag queen.
Thank you.
Have a nice dinner, and you gonna sit at the table and talk about stripping.
Hoes got to eat too.
What?
This Red Lobster full of hoes. You don't believe it? I'm gonna tell you. Let right there. Bro, boy, don't deserve no coochie.
Damn, my mouth is closed, but these hands is open for business. Oh.
Big Mama, who was it?
Oh, that's just a Bible salesman.
The Oscar nominee, Convention Wallace.
with your pretty brown skin.
So that'll be the next time we get together. We're gonna ask ourselves if this is an agenda or is it art? Men in dresses. So
and we've got that'll be like a panel almost. That we've got someone who's going to argue the point of that it's it's art. And we're going to try to get someone to argue.
I'll try and get Charles on then. I mean, he's got opinions about this. So
yeah, so we've got the person who's going to argue about it being art. So that'll be all good.
All right. Well, I have to just tell everybody how much I love them. I love you all. And say peace and blessings. So all right. Peace and blessings. Thank you, Jason Clue. Thank you, Mod Squad. Thank you, chat. This was a fun one. And make sure that you go if you made a donation and I didn't see it, thank you so much. Every penny makes a difference and the donations are accepted. You can see at the bottom of the screen. And then what's your tag? Where can people find you?
Just type in 21 Rules of Blackness. Okay, 20 Rules of Blackness. You can follow us on social media. We have a Instagram. We have an Instagram. And maybe a YouTube channel, which we don't really use it as much these days anymore. But follow us on Instagram. 20 Rules of Blackness.
Okay. All right. Adios. Thank you, guys. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, theys, thems. Peace and blessings.